what really happened to them all that day. Why one quiet Instagram story has fans convinced Taehyung is the ultimate girl dad. In the making, was it just another fleeting Instagram story that would disappear in 24 hours? Or was it a rare, unguarded glimpse into a side of Kim Taehyung that fans have always sensed but never fully seen? Why did a simple family shopping moment, captured casually by Taehyung's mother, send shockwaves of emotion across social media? And how did one soft, almost ordinary image ignite conversations about love, tenderness, and the kind of father Taehyung might one day become? At first glance, it looked harmless. A mall, a family, a relaxed afternoon that had nothing to do with stages, lights, or screaming crowds. But then fans noticed him.
Kim Taehyung,
walking quietly, blending into the background, holding a sleeping baby in his arms while the mother shopped. No performance.
no cameras.
No effort to be seen, just presence. And in that moment, something shifted, because sometimes the smallest moments reveal the loudest truths. The Instagram story posted by Taehyung's mother did not come with dramatic captions or intentional fan service. It wasn't meant to trend. It wasn't framed to spark theories. Yet it did exactly that, because what fans saw was not V of BTS, global superstar and fashion icon, but Taehyung the human being. Taehyung the protector. Taehyung the gentle soul who instinctively steps into a role many find deeply emotional. The one who carries the baby so she can sleep peacefully while her mother takes time for herself. For fans who have followed Taehyung's journey for years, this image felt both surprising and completely expected. Surprising because it was so intimate and unscripted. Expected because it aligned perfectly with everything he has quietly shown through his actions over the years. The setting itself added to the emotional weight. A mall is an ordinary place, noisy and crowded. The last place one would expect such tenderness to stand out. Yet there he was, moving through that chaos with a sleeping child in his arms, careful and unhurried. Anyone who has ever carried a sleeping baby knows how instinctively your body changes. Your steps soften, your voice lowers, your awareness sharpens. You become a shield. That is the image fans cannot let go of. What struck many was not just that Taehyung carried the baby, but how natural it seemed. There was no awkwardness, no visible discomfort. He didn't hand the baby off quickly or look distracted. He stayed. He held her. He let her sleep. This was not a staged act of kindness. This was something deeply ingrained. Social media reactions poured in almost immediately after fans began circulating descriptions and screenshots of the story. Words like girl dad energy, softest soul, and this is everything flooded timelines. But beneath the playful comments and crying emojis was something more profound. A collective emotional response to seeing masculinity expressed through care, gentleness, and quiet responsibility. In an industry where male idols are often portrayed as distant, perfect, or untouchable, moments like this cut through the illusion. They remind fans that behind the curated images and controlled appearances are real people shaped by empathy, family bonds, and personal values. Taehyung has always been different in this regard. Long before this mall sighting, fans noticed how he interacted with children, animals, and elders. He listens more than he speaks. He observes. He adapts. He has spoken openly in the past about valuing warmth, sincerity, and emotional connection over superficial success. This moment felt like a living embodiment of those values. There is also something deeply symbolic about the role he took on in that moment. Carrying the baby while the mother shops is not just an act of convenience. It is an act of partnership. It says, "You go. I've got this." It reflects a modern, emotionally intelligent understanding of shared responsibility, one that resonates strongly with fans across generations. For many, this scene triggered personal memories. Some saw their own fathers in him, the quiet ones who showed love through actions rather than words. Others saw the father they wished they had. And for some, it represented the kind of partner they hoped for. Someone who steps in without being asked, who prioritizes comfort over ego, who understands that strength can be gentle. The emotional response was amplified by the fact that Taehyung did not know he was being observed by millions in that moment. This was not content created for fans. This was life, unfolding naturally. And perhaps that is why it felt so powerful. Kim Bin-chi's presence added another layer to the story. Known as a close friend and trusted figure in Taehyung's circle, Kim Bin-chi represents a space where Taehyung can simply be himself. Being with family, surrounded by people who see him not as an idol but as a person, allows these moments to exist without pressure. Fans recognized that comfort immediately. What also stood out was Taehyung's ability to disappear into the background despite his global fame. In a mall full of strangers, he was not seeking attention. He was not performing a role. He was just doing what needed to be done. That humility has always been one of his defining traits, and seeing it expressed in such a tender way felt deeply affirming to those who admire him. As discussions grew, many fans began connecting this moment to Taehyung's past interviews and behaviors. His love for old music, his appreciation for slow, meaningful moments, his tendency to care deeply for those around him. This was not a sudden revelation, but a missing puzzle piece falling into place. The phrase "girl dad" took on special meaning in this context. It is not just about having a daughter. It is about embodying patience, protection, and emotional availability. The image of Taehyung carrying a sleeping baby girl while shopping becomes symbolic of a future many fans imagine for him. One filled with warmth, laughter, and quiet moments away from the spotlight. Yet the beauty of this moment lies in the fact that it does not demand interpretation. It does not ask to be romanticized. It simply exists. And in existing, it reveals more than any interview or photo shoot ever could. This is why the story continues to circulate even after disappearing from Instagram. This is why fans keep talking about it, rewatching it in their minds, sharing their feelings with strangers online. Because it touched something universal, in a world that often celebrates loud success and visible power. This moment celebrated something softer. It reminded people that kindness does not need an audience, that love can be quiet, that the most meaningful acts often happen when no one is watching. For Taehyung, this was likely just another ordinary day. Another moment spent with people he cares about. Another small act of consideration. But for fans, it became a reminder of why they fell in love with him in the first place. Not just because of his voice, his visuals, or his artistry, but because of the humanity that shines through when the cameras are off. As time passes, new stories will emerge, new headlines will take over, and new moments will capture attention. But this one will linger, because it was not loud enough to fade quickly. It was gentle enough to stay. For years, fans have observed Taehyung through fragments, interviews, behind-the-scenes clips, fleeting expressions caught between schedules. Yet those fragments often came filtered through expectation and performance. This small moment, however, felt untouched by intention. It was not designed to communicate anything, and precisely because of that, it communicated everything. There is a powerful emotional truth in watching someone care for a child who is not their own. It speaks to instinct rather than obligation. The baby did not belong to him. There was no responsibility assigned by title or role. He chose to hold her. He chose to stay attentive while others moved freely. That choice, small as it may seem, struck a deep chord. Fans began reflecting on how rare it is to see male public figures portrayed in nurturing roles without irony or spectacle. Too often, tenderness is treated as an exception, something surprising or noteworthy only because it contradicts traditional expectations. Yet Taehyung did not appear to be doing tenderness. He simply was tender, and that difference matters. The way he carried the baby while she slept also spoke volumes. Anyone familiar with infants understands the trust involved. A sleeping baby is completely vulnerable. One wrong movement, one careless shift, and she wakes, startled and crying. The person holding her must be fully present, fully aware. That level of attentiveness cannot be faked. This is where many fans felt an emotional pull that went beyond admiration. The scene evoked safety, comfort, reliability. These are qualities people often seek not just in idols, but in partners, family members, and fathers. Seeing them embodied so naturally by someone they already admire created a powerful emotional overlap.